Every year, local governments issue mandatory evacuation orders for incoming Category 5 hurricanes, and every year, thousands of people stay in their homes. We see the exact same behavior on Wall Street, glaring data points signaling an impending market crash, routinely ignored by seasoned investors. When presented with undeniable, flawless proof of a looming disaster, the human brain frequently paralyzes itself. This failure to act isn't a new phenomenon. It's a recurring pattern in human decision-making that has been documented for millennia. The Panchatantra, a Sanskrit collection of strategy and political science, treats these lapses in judgment as a survival problem. It frames human psychology through animal archetypes, creating a controlled environment to study why we fail to react to external threats. These stories function as case studies, isolating the specific mental hurdles that prevent us from reacting to the obvious. By examining the choices made in these accounts, we can pinpoint the moments where cognitive biases begin to override the instinct for survival. Our case study centers on a closed system. 3 fishes live in a completely isolated, thriving pond, operating under the illusion of permanent peace. Then, a shock to the system occurs. A group of fishermen pass by, assess the dense population of the pond, and explicitly announce that they will return tomorrow morning with their nets. Notice the parameters of this threat. The source of the danger is identified, the method of destruction is clear, and the deadline is absolute. Because the impending doom is a known absolute, the scenario strips away all variables. What remains is a pure test of cognitive response under pressure. The text outlines 3 distinct responses to this threat. The first fish is the proactive planner. He instantly processes the fisherman's warning and immediately sounds the alarm to the rest of the community. This archetype possesses the ability to instantly sever emotional ties to the status quo. He treats his current home as a liability the moment the environment changes, prioritizing survival above his own comfort. The second fish is the rational adapter. He didn't hear the fisherman himself, but he carefully evaluates the warning presented by the first fish. His survival relies on overcoming internal inertia. Even without first-hand experience of the danger, he is willing to pivot his entire existence based on verified secondary data. Both of these models represent functional threat responses. They survive because they allow objective reality to dictate their actions, rather than their own wishful thinking. The third fish represents the fatalist. He actively mocks the evacuation plan, mounting a defense for staying in the pond that relies entirely on a series of logical fallacies. This diagram illustrates his first major error, the appeal to tradition. He argues that because the pond belonged to their forefathers, it is inherently safe. He assumes that historical ownership provides a shield against current physical threats. Then he relies on normalcy bias. Looking at this timeline, he assumes that because a disaster hasn't happened in this pond yet, it cannot happen now. He projects yesterday's safety into a tomorrow that has already changed. Finally, he rebrands his own passivity as a form of noble sacrifice. This allows him to maintain his comfort in the short term, but it effectively removes his ability to influence his own future. Under the cover of night, the first 2 fishes and their followers rapidly evacuate. They abandon their comfortable home and force themselves through a narrow, dark drainage tunnel to an unknown location. The consequence arrives the next morning. The fishermen return exactly as promised. They cast their nets over the remaining water and capture every fish that chose to stay. The third archetype is the most lethal mindset because it provides an intellectual justification for doing nothing. It allows the victim to feel secure right up until the moment the net closes. We can shift this framework away from the fable. The pond represents any modern structure you inhabit, a corporate hierarchy, a geographic region, or a financial market. The fishermen are the measurable red flags that appear in our lives, the market shifts and systemic failures that we frequently rationalize away until it is too late to move. Normalcy bias suggests that because things have been fine so far, they will continue to be fine. But historical safety is not an insurance policy against a new threat. The ancient text offers a strict rule for these moments. When the data points to destruction, waiting for absolute certainty often means waiting until you are already caught in the net. Survival is rarely an accident. It requires abandoning your own comfort zones and acting the moment the threat is identified, before the exit closes.